Hello, beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. Today, I want to talk to you about coping with things that are not going the right way, coping with things that overwhelm us, cause anxiety, fear, sadness, anger. How do we move from all of these everyday happenings, right? These things happen to us because we're human, and so um, it's bound to happen all the time, no matter how happy you are, no matter how much you are working on staying on a high positive note. Um, Getting down because something happens when it feels like it's triggering us, it will happen. Now, on a different point, if it is triggering you, it's because there's something deeper, a deeper wound that you need to look at. But today, I'm not going to talk about that. Today, I'm going to talk about how to move forward, how to move away from it. And one of the easiest ways, well, I say easy, but it may not seem that easy to you right now, but one of the easiest ways to do that is to basically simply change your point of view. So you change your point of view with whatever it is that's happening. You look at it from a different point of view, and then things seem to feel lighter or better. And that's really all we need. All we need is a little bit of change in direction. Imagine yourself walking down a path and you see some, let's say, some dark area coming ahead where you're not sure what's there and it makes you feel uneasy. And that feeling of like, oh, I'm not sure about this, that's your intuition telling you that, maybe it's not a great idea to go down that way. And one of the easiest ways to move forward is to change the street you're walking through, right? So you can just make a little right or veer to the left, whichever way it goes, and then go around it, go above it, go beyond it, turn, do something that's slightly different, but still going towards your destination. So, in feelings, in the ways that we're feeling um, overwhelm or anxiety or sadness or anger, it's the same thing. You begin to feel something. Let's say, I'm going to give you an example from a child at school because I taught school for 15 years. So let's say a child all of a sudden gets very sad or disappointed that they weren't picked for whatever it is that was happening in the classroom or even in the playground. And then all of a sudden, that child goes into this mode of thinking that I don't feel good, I feel not wanted, or I feel left out, or whatever it is, right? And then they begin to feel down. You can see it. You can see it in their body language. Their shoulders begin to move forward, their head begins to move down, their gaze looks down, and everything begins to just kind of cradle in like in the fetus, right? When you're in the fetus, your position, you're like completely um, covering and protecting yourself, your face, your belly, that type of area, right? So it's like the same type of thing and the same movements that we create as children and as adults. We have that same body language that tells our body, I'm protecting myself whenever you feel something like that, right? And so immediately from there, from that feeling of, oh, I wasn't picked and everything's going wrong now, or everything's, just you just get that whole feeling of dread. And from there on, you just begin to feed into that feeling and feel worse and worse, going down that spiral by feeding it more of the same feelings. You change the point of view. Change the point of view as to like think about or say to the person or to yourself, say something such as, well, I wasn't picked now, but I was picked yesterday and I might get picked tomorrow. And immediately that feeling of dread lifts, right? It's like that feeling of like, oh, I'm in this moment of feeling bad, but you know what, if I think about it, I was included yesterday and I've been included before and I will probably be included again. And that must, This is just a one day thing or a one moment thing. So that's really good to also tune into the moment. This is happening right now. It's just right now. In the next couple of minutes or hours or days, this will change whatever the situation is. And the reason I'm putting different time frames here is because it depends on what you're going through, right? But right now, I can change my mood. I can change my point of view. You can also think, I know this from other people that I have worked with, that begin to think, I don't recommend this is not my thing, but like I'm just mentioning it because it just came into my awareness, and so I'm feeling that some of you might benefit from this. But like, think of something worse, or something worse that could have happened, or like, for example, oh, I wasn't picked and I feel left out. But I don't know, let's say last year I was always left out, and now this year it's not like that. This year is like, most of the time I do get picked, and this is a rare occasion. Or you can think of, if you're an adult and you're going through something that's difficult, you may think of other things. For example, well, this thing is happening. Let's say you don't have enough money to pay your rent, okay, or your mortgage. Okay, this is very upsetting and I'm worried and all of these things. However, I still do have a roof over my head. Or, however, I actually do have a home right now, or a place to stay, where there are other people who are on the streets because they don't have it. And there are other people who maybe have a home, but they don't have electricity. And then you begin to think not of anyone in particular, but of how much worse or dire the situation could be. And then when you compare it to something so much worse, then you gain perspective to, like, you know what, maybe I'm not so bad after all. I mean, yeah, this is pretty bad, but it's not that other thing, whatever is coming up for you, right? I'm not saying to like look for specific people, or situations of specific people that you know, but it's just like, what else in general could be happening that is not happening. And therefore, look at how fortunate you are for what you do have and for what is going well for you. So, in other words, starting to turn the way that you're thinking to look for the positive in your situation, no matter what the situation is, right? Oh, I was in a terrible car accident. At least I'm alive. I still have my life, right? Wow. Like, no one lost their life in this accident. Isn't that amazing? Right? Meanwhile, you could be all mangled and you may have like months of recovery, and but you're thinking of what's positive about it, because that thinking, that switch on your mentality, the way that you're seeing things, is what actually gets you out of whatever the situation is much, much faster and with much, much ease, right? You ever seen somebody who has had some terrible type of illness, or like I said, an accident or something like that, and they have a terrible attitude, like, poor me, I can't believe this, now I can't XYZ, and then they just go down the drain, they're depressed, they're sad, and obviously, yeah, they have a right to be, because that's a terrible thing. However, there are other people that have the same type of situation, where they go like, well, that's not going to stop me, and well, that might be what the doctors are saying now, but let's see what happens tomorrow, let's see how I can prove them wrong. And then they have a completely different point of view, a completely different perspective on what's happening. And it's that positive thinking, that positive point of view, the way of turning the bad into good, and just looking at it from a different perspective. It's like moving slightly towards the left, slightly towards the right, so that you can see things in a way that brings light to whatever it is the situation is that's happening for you. So, changing your point of view, changing your perspective, right? Imagine yourself like, okay, here it is. This is like the terrible thing that's happening. Let's say you had a fight with somebody, a best friend, and now you're like completely devastated because it's your best friend. And then begin to move yourself out of where you are, and like imagine yourself like being on a helicopter or something, and just looking down at you from the helicopter on the earth and this situation. But then you're also able to see other things and other people and other situations that are going on around your home, your place, your city. And then you get to spot different things that are more unfortunate, right? And then you're like, oh, well, from this perspective, that fight wasn't as bad. I mean, I'm seeing this thing happening on that side, and that's really bad, but that's not what's happening to me. So now I have a different perspective, right? When you compare yourself or what's happening in your life to something that's even worse, not to say like at least that's not me, but kind of saying at least that's not me, therefore I am grateful for what's happening here. It is not so bad. I will move through, right? This too shall pass. Isn't that one of the biblical lines? I have no idea what part of the Bible, but I'm pretty sure it's from there. um and now I'm coughing. Thank you for that, angels. Okay, so yeah, that's the message for today. Change your perspective, change your point of view, change the way that you're looking at things, so that you may have more ease, more perspective, and lift your energy, your frequency. This is key. When something unfortunate happens and we begin to go down that spiral, we are lowering our frequency, we're lowering our vibration. And what that does is it attracts other things at that same level of vibration, of frequency. Therefore, more things that will make you feel mad, sad, angry, or distressed will appear into your awareness because you are aligning to that frequency, right? It's like listening to the radio. You put a frequency, let's say for jazz music, you're going to hear only jazz music there, right? And then you can change the dial and change the frequency. Let's say you have rock music, you're going to hear more rock music on that radio station because you're aligned to that frequency of rock music. That's the radio station. So it's the same thing in your life. If you're going down in your mood, in your feelings, and you continue to feed it, you continue feeling this way and adding more to that anxiety or depression or anger feeling, then you are aligning with the universe to bring you more and to show you more things that are aligned with that frequency. This is why it's important to raise your frequency and feel like, oh, okay, yeah, this is bad, but at least it's not that other thing, and therefore I'm grateful. As soon as are able to see the good in the bad that's happening to you, your energy shifts and it rises. And then once the energy rises, what happens is that you're rising your frequency. And once you rise your frequency, you begin to align with things that are at that higher frequency. And so what you will be attracting now are things aligned with a higher frequency, which is not the terrible thing that just happened to you, right? Or that's been happening to you. So that's why it's important. Align your frequency to um, a higher frequency. Again, I keep saying frequency today, and then you will begin to attract more of that. So be joyous, have fun. That's the key. No matter what, try to look for the good in the bad and change your point of view. I hope that this was helpful for you. Please let me know. Write me a comment or a message if you know me, and let me know how this is helping you or how this is sitting with you. And also, please share this podcast so more people can find the messages. If you find them helpful, then perhaps you might know other people that might find them helpful as well. I love you so much, sending you so much love and care, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.